Hey guys, welcome back to The Miniature Life. Today's recipe is one that so many of you have requested after seeing it for the first time on my Instagram page. We're making my Masala Chai and dark chocolate cookies. These are unbelievably good and pay homage to the traditional Masala Chai that I grew up with in my Indian household. There's two people in the world that I think make the best masala chai. One is my mother-in-law and one is my dad's sister. And no, I'm not trying to impress her with this video. This recipe combines my South Asian heritage with the masala chai and my Australian upbringing with the humble cookie. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe as much as I have enjoyed creating it. To make my masala chai cookies, you are going to need 350 grams of plain sifted flour, 200 grams of melted butter, 1 egg at room temperature, 80 grams of caster sugar, 200 grams of tightly packed brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 2 teaspoons of ground cardamom, a half teaspoon of ground clove, half a teaspoon of allspice, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 1 black tea bag, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 200 grams of good quality dark chocolate, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and finally, 1/4 teaspoon of flaky sea salt. If you don't have sea salt, go ahead and use half a teaspoon of salt in the entire recipe. So let's get started. To infuse the flavour of black tea in this recipe, we're actually going to steep the black tea bag in the melted butter. You need to do this for roughly 10 minutes. Once the tea bag has been steeping for 10 minutes, squeeze out all the excess butter and dispose of the tea bag. All of that delicious black tea flavour is now infused in our butter. Now before we get to the rest of the recipe, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Now let's work on our dry ingredients. Using a whisk, loosen up the plain flour and add in all of the baking soda. Use a whisk to mix everything through to make sure you get a beautiful lump-free texture. Now let's prep our stand mixer to get started with the wet ingredients. For this recipe, you want to use a paddle attachment. If you don't have a stand mixer, you could absolutely use a hand mixer or a wooden spoon instead. Start by adding in all of the tea-infused butter to the mixing bowl alongside all of the sugars. Beat these together for roughly 2 minutes until they become light and fluffy. It should resemble something like this. Now add in the egg and beat the mixture through for another minute to a minute and a half. It's important that this egg is at room temperature to give you the right texture for your cookie. Now add in the vanilla extract and beat everything at a medium-high speed for about 30 seconds until everything is really light and fluffy. It should look something like this. Be sure to scrape down the sides of the bowl before we get to adding our dry ingredients. I like to add the flour 1/3 cup at a time to ensure I get a lovely smooth consistency. After the first round of the flour is mixed through, add in all of the spices together. Continue to fold this through. As soon as the spices have been folded in, add your next batch of flour, another 1/3 cup. As soon as you think the flour has been mixed through well, turn off the stand mixer and add in your next batch of flour. Ensure that you are mixing everything together on the lowest speed setting to maintain the lovely texture of this cookie. Continue to add in the rest of the flour and fold everything through. Now that the flour is fully mixed through, we're going to turn off the stand mixer and add in most of our dark chocolate. I'm reserving about 2 tablespoons so that I can top each individual cookie with small chocolate chunks. Our cookie dough is ready to roll out. Grab a lined baking tray with baking paper and roll out 1 to 2 tablespoon sized dough balls. This recipe yields roughly 20 large size cookies. You could absolutely make them mini sized if you wish. Once you've got the cookie dough balls on the baking tray, use your fingers to flatten them gently. Now, top these with the reserved dark chocolate from earlier, and if you have and are using the flaky sea salt, now's the time to sprinkle a little bit on each cookie. Pop these in the oven for roughly 12 to 15 minutes. 12 minutes for quite a gooey cookie and 15 minutes for a cookie that is crispy on the outside and gooey on the inside. It's completely your choice. My top tip when baking cookies is to actually rotate the tray halfway through. This will ensure you have lovely even cooking across the entire tray so that one cookie doesn't look more burnt than the other. And here are our cookies fresh from the oven. As soon as they're a little bit cool to touch, either use your hands or a spatula to remove them from the baking tray and onto a wire cooling rack. I love serving these cookies alongside a hot cup of tea or coffee. Now you could also use these cookies in dessert by using the cookie for a cookie crumb base or in an ice cream sandwich. I hope you guys loved today's video. This is definitely one of my favorite creations. I'm so glad I'm sharing it with you guys today. Combining my two loves of masala chai and the humble cookie has brought me so much joy, and I cannot wait to create more recipes like this. If you want to see more fusion recipes, do let me know. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next week with a brand new video.